right, let's dig into some pretty interesting news that just dropped. Spotify's first quarter for 2025. The results are out, and honestly, they seem to have really knocked it out of the park, beat expectations quite significantly. We've got the official earnings report right here, and it's packed. Lots to unpack about where Spotify is right now and maybe where it's heading.
Exactly. And it's more than just, the usual numbers update. This feels like a real pulse check on the platform's health. We should probably look, beyond just the headlines and figure out what's actually driving these results, what it all means.
Okay, so give us the main takeaway then. If we're doing this deep dive, what's the crucial thing you listening right now should really zero in on from this report?
Well, right off the bat, I'd say the user growth, it's pretty compelling. They're reporting a 12% jump in subscribers compared to last year. That brings them to 268 million paying users. And at the same time, their monthly active users, so that's everyone, free tier included, they grew too, up 10% year over year, hitting 678 million. Yeah, that kind of growth, especially for a platform this size, it suggests, their strategies are working globally.
That subscriber number, the 12%, that feels particularly strong. Sounds like a really good Q1 for getting new people to actually pay up.
It was, yeah. The report specifically calls out that the net subscriber adds highest for a first quarter since way back in 2020. So yeah, it definitely points to strong demand for premium, and they seem pretty good at converting those free listeners over. Makes you think about what's making it stick, right?
And it's not just the raw numbers, is it? I saw Daniel Ek, the CEO, he chimed in on this.
He did, yeah. And his take is interesting. He highlighted their freemium model, said it gives them flexibility, especially when, the economy's a bit shaky. Makes sense. You have the free option, the paid one, caters to different folks, means they can still grow the overall user base even if not everyone signs up for premium right away, builds that potential pool. He also sounded pretty confident about the long-term picture, sees this as part of a bigger upward curve.
Okay. So user growth check, big part of the story. But how's the financial side looking? Are they actually making good money from all these users?
Oh, yeah, definitely. The financials in this report, quite noteworthy. Total revenue climbed 15% compared to last year. That's 4.2 billion. But maybe even more telling is the gross margin. Big improvement there. It jumped about 400 basis points, hitting 31.6%.
Whoa, hang on. 400 basis points. That's like a 4 percentage point increase in how much they keep from each euro. That's substantial.
It really is. And their operating income, even more dramatic rise there, reaching 509 million. The report uses the phrase delivering profitability improvements, and well, these figures definitely back that up, loud and clear.
So they're not just growing, they're getting leaner, more efficient.
Exactly. It suggests all those things they've been working on, content deals, efficiencies, maybe pricing tweaks. It's really starting to impact the bottom line. Feels like the business is kind of maturing and finding that sustainable profit groove.
Right. Now, Spotify isn't just listeners, obviously. There are the creators, artists, podcasters, authors now, too. What's the report saying about, supporting them?
Yeah, a lot of focus there. Enhancing value for creators and advertisers seems key. For instance, they're expanding the Spotify Partner Program for video podcast creators.
Yeah.
Big expansion, actually. 9 new markets.
And whereabouts?
Let's see, France, Belgium, Luxembourg, Netherlands, Ireland, New Zealand, Germany, Austria, and Switzerland. That's on top of the places where it was already running, like the US, UK, Canada, Australia. So clearly they're betting big on video podcasts.
That's quite the rollout. What else? Anything for, say, advertisers or other creators?
On the ad side, yeah, they're launching a bunch of automated ad tools, things like the Spotify Ad Exchange, something called Gene AI ads using AI for ad creation, sounds like, plus an upgraded ads manager and new measurement tools. The goal seems to be modernizing the whole ad process.
Yeah.
Buying, measuring, creating. That AI integration for ads is definitely one to watch.
AI ads. Interesting. And you mentioned authors before. I saw something about AI and audiobooks, too.
Yes, exactly. That's another really fascinating move. They're partnering with 11 Labs. The idea is to let authors use 11 Labs AI voice tech to narrate their own audiobooks in 29 languages?
29, wow.
Yeah.
So potentially making audiobook production way easier for authors.
Could be. It might really open things up for authors who couldn't afford traditional narration. And think about language access, potentially way more audiobooks in languages that didn't have many before. It definitely raises questions about AI's role going forward.
Yeah, definitely a space to keep an eye on. Okay, so beyond these specific programs, did the report touch on the bigger picture, like the economics for artists?
It did, yeah. Through their latest Loud and Clear report, that's their annual music economics thing, Key findings: record revenues for the music industry overall, more artist diversity finding success, music becoming more global, less bordered, and get this number. Spotify paid out a record $10 billion to the music industry in 2024.
10 billion.
10 billion. And they highlighted that nearly half of that went to indies, independent labels, and artists. That figure alone just shows you the scale of Spotify's role and how money flows through music today.
That's a huge number. Really puts their impact in perspective. What about connecting fans and artists more directly? Any new features there?
Yep, they mentioned a new feature called the Concerts Near You playlist. Basically, it uses your listening habits to suggest local live shows you might like, gives you the event details, ticket links, ways to share it, trying to bridge that gap between streaming and seeing artists live.
That sounds genuinely useful. I know I've missed shows just because I didn't know about them.
Right. Seems like a smart way to connect fans with those live opportunities. Good for artists, too, presumably.
Makes sense. And podcasters getting some recognition, too, I saw.
That's right. They launched the first ever Spotify Creator Milestone Awards. It's for podcasts hitting major streaming milestones. They pointed out that over 1 billion people have listened to podcasts on Spotify since 2019. So
Yeah.
it's a way to acknowledge that huge growth and the creators making it happen.
Formalizing that recognition. Interesting. And lastly, Spotify Singles. That's been around a while, hasn't it? Still going.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It's in its 5th year now. That's their program for exclusive original recordings. They've done nearly 1,000 tracks with over 750 artists globally. The fact that it's still running strong says a lot about how it resonates with fans and offers something unique for artists.
Okay, so if we just sort of pull back and look at everything, Q1 2025 looks like a really, really solid quarter for Spotify across the board.
Yeah, that sums it up well. You've got strong user growth, both paying and overall. You've got significant financial improvements, better profitability, and they're clearly still investing heavily in the tools and programs for creators and advertisers, the whole ecosystem.
And that confidence from Daniel Ek, it seems, well, backed up by these results.
Definitely. It feels like they see this as proof their long-term strategy is working, that they can handle the changing media world.
So as you've been listening to us break all this down, here's something to chew on. Spotify's putting up these big numbers. They're pushing innovation in audio, AI, creator tools. What do you think the wider impact is? How might this change how you find and listen to music, podcasts, audiobooks in the future? Spotify's clearly trying to be right at the center of it all.
And look, if you want to dive even deeper into the nitty-gritty, all the specific financial data, the full breakdown, you can always find the complete earnings release over on Spotify's Investor Relations website. Plenty more detail there if you're keen.